it going? Right, today I'm doing a video on how to cook beef with garlic and black bean sauce. It's one of my most favourite dishes from the Chinese, is up there with probably my top 3 dishes, and it's more likely yours as well. I get asked so many times, Ben, how do you make this, how do you make that? So today I thought I'd just knock up a little video, show you how easy it is, hopefully give you guys some encouragement to try it yourselves. So we're going to dive down, have a look at some ingredients, do some cooking in real time, and hopefully get a really good end result and show you how easy it is. Okay, so here's our basic ingredients, what we need for this dish. A lot of it you've probably got lying around anyway. It's nothing too special. There is a few things you will need, like a visit to like a Chinese supermarket or an Asian supermarket to get. Again, it's very important. If you can get like even things like the oyster sauce and the soy sauce, if you buy it from like Tesco, Asda, I don't know, Sainsbury's, wherever, it's just not quite the same as what they use in the restaurants. So all this stuff here, if you can source it all from, you know, the Asian supermarkets, that is one of the biggest things about getting the correct flavour. You've got to get the correct ingredients, and it's so worth it. First time cooking this, you might have to shell out, you know, on things you haven't got. But if you cook it enough, like I've always got this stock at hand, because I cook a lot of Asian food, so it's always ready. So it's expensive when you first buy it all, but it's there in the cupboard every time you need it then. Right, I'll just run through the basics. Right, olive oil, that's for frying. If I don't use olive oil, depending on the dish, I like to use coconut oil. Just better for you. It adds a slight bit of flavour. Again, depends on the dish. For this, we're just going to use normal olive oil for frying. Oyster sauce. This, again, don't get it from Tesco, or your supermarket. You know, get that brand. Get this one. Or you know, another brand that's there at the Asian supermarket. It really is. It's totally different taste. It really is. This adds like that nice beefy richness. It really does pop a dish, you know, when it's used. We don't use loads of that in this dish, but again, it's to add the richness. We're using dark soy sauce on this one. Again, it's totally different. This is like very rich. It's very thick, and adds some colour and some richness to the dish, as well as a tiny bit of salt. Right, this rice wine. This, again, you probably only need about a tablespoon for this dish, but it really, 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 really does make the difference. It's incredible. As soon as if you've never used it before and you start cooking with it, you'll recognise the flavour and the smell. As soon as you open it, you'll be like, oh my god, that smells exactly like a Chinese. Toasted sesame oil, you'd probably use that plenty of times. I use a lot of this. Again, a few drips just at the very end, just to add a little pinch of aroma. We've got some beef bouillon paste, or you can use like OXO cube, beef stock cube, whatever you want. I've also, again, not essential if you're using that, but I've also got some beef stock here at hand already. These are some basic vegetables like your green pepper, Scotch bonnets, lovely, some ginger, onion. We've got some spring onions there, obviously the garlic. The other thing we've got is the black beans themselves. These, again, it's essential. They come preserved. They're very salty, and they come dried. I don't know if you see in there, but they're very dry, preserved, but absolutely beautiful. Again, not expensive. The whole thing was, I think, it was about £1.50 for the big box. That'll last you a good couple of months, and they are preserved, so they won't go off. Right, the other thing, this one's a bit of a, people like it, people don't. It's MSG. I don't mind monosodium glutamate. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's your call whether you want to use it or not. People say it's bad for you, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. It's a flavour enhancer. Up to you whether you use it or not. Me personally, I love it. It does work. It's great. Right, the spring onions again, not essential to have them, but I do like a couple in the dish. It does make all the difference. Right, this, we got some sugar, and it's not to make the dish sweet, but the black beans and the green pepper can make it, there's a slight bitterness to it. So what the sugar does essentially, it doesn't sweeten it, it just takes that bitterness out of it, and just really rounds the flavour really well. Right, and then onto the meat. For this one, I've used, I think it was rump steak, and basically I've velveted it. It's a process of tenderising it, where it goes with the corn flour, the egg. I'll do another video on that. It probably looks a bit weird to you guys at the minute, but it's we've got to cook this off first before we add it to the dish. Again, I'll do a separate video on how to tenderise the meat. So today we're using steak. You can use pretty much any beef you want, or chicken, or anything, fish or prawns, anything you fancy. But that's about it for the ingredients wise. So what I'm going to go down and do now is just prep all the veg up. I'm going to part cook the beef, so that's all ready. Chop the garlic up and get it all laid out, ready to cook, and then we'll dive down straight into the real-time cooking, put it all together, and hopefully explain stuff as we go along then. Okay, right, I'm going to do my best to give you the measurements. Again, being a typical chef, I don't tend to weigh anything. I just sort of do everything by ratios. So with that in mind, this will serve 2 people. So that's my steak now, but it's starting to look a bit more like steak. So I've finished the velveting process. Again, I'll do another video on that. But that's good to go now. So I don't know how, again, I don't know how much is there. It's a large sort of takeaway tub, fairly full. Again, this should serve 2 people. So we've got whole green pepper. I'd say 2 large spring onions. Got half a large onion. You've got half a Scotch bonnet. Again, depends how hot you like it. I do like it fairly hot. Half a Scotch bonnet isn't overly hot, but it might be too spicy for most people. So with the chili, just put as much as what you could tolerate or what you enjoy. Again, we've got a little bit of sugar here. We'll probably use in the whole dish about 2 tablespoons. These are chopped garlic. We're going to use roughly the same amount of garlic as there is black beans. I like to use that ratio. It might be a bit rich for some, but again, if you follow this as a rough guide and you see how you get on, you might find you like a few less black beans or a bit more garlic, or you know, once you've cooked it a few times, you can change it to how you like it. You can really dial it in, you know, once you're confident. I'd say there's about 1 teaspoon of ginger. Again, it just, you don't want loads in there. It just gives a little lift, and it does add to the flavour. So with all the sauces, the oyster sauce and the stock and everything like that, I'm just going to try and explain that as we go. So we're going to get cracking now. We're going to fire up and do the good bit. And I'm going to have to slow it down for you guys to follow it along, and then I'll talk through each step, see how we go, and let's get cooking. Right, let's fire this up and let's go. Okay, right, just turn the hob on. First thing, nice thin wok, that's what you want really. Get it hot, get it smoking. So you want hot pan, cold oil. That's essential. That is that is where you need to start with. And then we're going to add ingredients bit at a time. If you overload it, you're just going to make your wok cold, so you're not going to get that authentic, like sort of charred, sort of fresh sort of taste, you know, the stir fry taste that you would get if you just dump it all in, all goes soggy, then it's no good. So we're just going to wait for the pan to heat up. Shouldn't take long. Again, it's a nice thin pan. So hot pan, cold oil, there you go, started to go already. And with these ingredients, you put them in as, you know, the longest things that take time, put them in first and you go along that way. This technique is everything. Right. Excuse me. Right, here we go. A little bit of oil. Okay, let's whip that round. Okay, first things first, going in is going to be onions. Okay, green peppers. Start them off. Again, you don't need to be stirring this every 2 minutes, just let it do its thing, you know. Again, make sure everything's nice and hot. You don't want to overload the wok, make everything cold, so just do it bit by bit. Okay. Onions breaking up. Peppers doing a little bit of colour on them. It's nice. Okay, next thing, spring onions. Give them a shake. Again, this will serve two. So if you're having like a nice rice or something like that, I tend to eat a lot of jasmine rice. It goes really well with this. I don't really like fried rice dishes with this because it takes away from the flavour of the black bean. I think boiled rice or plain rice works really well with this dish because again it's very rich, strong, pungent. It's good. Okay, starting to get more colour. So I think in with the rest now. That's the chilli, that's the black beans going in, ginger, and I'll put the garlic in there. Okay, garlic, I'd say there's 2 tablespoons at least there. Again, you can add more or less, depends how garlicky you like it. I like to use that as my standard. Okay. Smell coming from this now, absolutely beautiful. All the black beans. I slightly chop some of the black beans up rather than leave them whole. It helps like to release a bit more flavour, I find. So I do like to give them a little bit of a chop. Again, not essential, but just something I learned over cooking this time and time again, you know. Alright, so we're pretty much ready for the beef now. But still, everything's all nice. Okay, in the beef. That's all heated up pretty nice. So next we're going to put the stock. We want just enough just to cover, not too much. So beef stock going in. There you go, just enough to cover it. You don't need to go crazy, you know. Again, trying to keep things as hot as possible. Okay, right, so this little bit of dark soy sauce going in now. I'd say for this, that serves two, probably a teaspoon. Not loads, you don't need it. Right, oyster sauce, I'd say a tablespoon. Not loads, again, just enough. We're going to add a tiny bit of beef bouillon, not loads again, we've got the flavour from the stock. So again, probably, what's that, half a tablespoon, if that. Okay, give it a stir, mix it all in. Again, it'll take a little while now to get that stock heated up. But again, it's starting to resemble what we're after. Beautiful, right. And now just add in the other ingredients now. Right, monosodium glutamate. What's that? Half yeah, maybe a third of a tablespoon. I use that instead of salt. You don't need pepper, you've got the chilli in there. With this dish, it's really important, don't add salt until maybe the very end, because you've got so many things. The black beans tend to be quite salty. You've got the beef stock paste, which tends to be a bit salty as well. So I tend not to put salt in this dish. It doesn't really need it. So, and I like my salt and pepper, my seasonings. So a few guys, you probably leave it out as well. Right, the only thing I didn't mention in the video, which the other ingredient is the corn flour to bring all this together. But again, it's a simple water corn flour mix, very, very simple. So, and again, this is what we're using just to thicken it up when it's cooked through now. So we'll add that in here. Add that near the end. So again, this is looking where it needs to be. It's starting to look delicious. Okay. So, time for the Chinese rice wine. Again, 1 cupful, I reckon. Again, give it a stir. Now we're ready to thicken it up. It's pretty much good to go now. Okay. Again, it's cornstarch, corn flour with water mix. Again, just a little bit at a time. See how we go. Starting to pull everything together now. A bit more. I think that's probably it. Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect now. It's the right sort of consistency. So that's good to serve. Continue to heat down. There's what sesame oil again, not essential. Just adds a tiny bit of flavour. Maybe a few drips. That's all. Okay. Beautiful. Done. Ah, the sugar, that's right. Okay, sugar wise, I'd say, sort of measure it out a little bit. You want, just take the bitterness off. maybe a tablespoon for the whole dish. Here we go. And that is done. Okay, let's serve it up. Dish this up now. Again, see, serves easy 2 people that. Easily. And then a bit of spring onions on the top, just to garnish. And dive in. Absolutely beautiful. So there we go, simple as that. Hope you enjoyed the video. It's quite simple, quite straightforward. Hopefully it gives you guys encouragement. Try it yourselves, let me know how you get on. If you want to like, hit the like and subscribe, brilliant. I will do more, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys.